Let's begin today's Vanguard news with a reminder that the usual unit Playmats Bushier Road issues tend to feel cheap as a fourth of it having no design outside of a small nation symbol. But for once Bushier Road Global actually produced a good playmat design for SEL and Vanguard, leaving no space unused. Unfortunately, these playmats can only be bought either through their global online store or in this year's Table Conquest and Anime Expo. Unless you or a friend can go to said cons, the shipping fee and damaged or stolen package route is your only option. Time to order 2 Big Macs while using your long fishing rods because it's time for an encounter of the coral kind in DZLBT01. Angelic Star Coral is your typical D-series starter that will get you a lot of weird looks from other players if you're using her as your starter despite not using a coral deck. Fresh Star Coral when ridden over by Shiny Star Coral lets you add up to 1 grade 3 coral card from the top 7 cards of your deck. And when she's put into your soul by your grade 3 or higher Coral Vanguard's ability, your Vanguard gets 5k power. Then your Vanguard gets triple drive if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or higher. Finally, a card effect that lets you use the original Elementaria Sanctitude without a cost. On a side note, I have so many questions. Like, why is she singing in the kitchen while serving her stuffed toys some mystery food decks and are shivering? Shiny Star Coral while on Vanguard lets you return one of your rear guards to your hand when she attacks. And when she's put into your soul by your grade 3 or higher Coral Vanguard's ability, draw a card, then charge 1 energy and give one of your rear guards 5k power. 3 effects for just shoving her into your soul is such a good ability that a greedy player will be crying themselves to sleep tonight thinking that they've been both literally and figuratively been upstaged. Aurora Star Coral while on Vanguard gives all your other coral units 5k shields. Once per turn while on Vanguard, you can put a card in hand into your soul to draw a card. Then this unit gets an auto ability if you put a coral card that lets you stand a rear guard at the end of the battle she attacked. And while on Vanguard, you can pay 4 energy at the start of your battle phase to give all your front row units 5k power for every 2 coral cards in your soul. Then she gets an extra crit if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or higher. So assuming you didn't soul blast your eyeline, your entire front row can get as much as 10k power on your grade 3 ride turn. That can do 4 attacks if you use her ability. This is the kind of early rush play I want to do with Thegria, which is ironic since Coral and Thegria have the same cultured illustrator. The Tone of Beginnings Corsma when put on the Guardian Circle lets you pay 1 soul blast to get 5k shields for every 2 coral cards in your soul. But the grade 3 coral already makes her other counterparts increase in shields, and this card contradicts the deck's strategy by using up a soul. A song sung for generations, Satyrs while on rear guard gets 5k power when she attacks if you have a grade 3 or higher Coral Vanguard. And while on rear guard, she gets 5k power when she stands by your coral card's ability. Take note that the first ability's power increase only lasts for 1 battle and will only get up to 10k power when she restands. Diva of Echoing Star Lutantila when placed on rear guard lets you pay 1 counter blast to add a coral card from your drop zone. And while on rear guard or the Guardian Circle, she gets 5k power and shields if your soul has 4 or more coral cards. What is up with Bushier Road making coral so tanky? Including this, that's 3 cards with shield increase effects. Singular Heartlaria while on rear guard lets you put a coral card in your drop zone into your soul when she boosts while you have a Coral Vanguard. Then you can retire herself at the end of that battle while you have 4 or more coral cards in your soul and you did not countercharge this turn to countercharge 1 damage. While the main function of this card is to get corals from your drop, the deck barely uses any counter blast, and yet here's a unit that countercharges. Either Bushier Road is telling players to use counter blast if you use pressure in the build, or they're future supporting. Luminous Melody Alnesia while on rear guard lets you pay 1 counter blast when she attacks, and you have 4 or more coral cards in your soul to draw a card, and she gets 5k power. And while on rear guard, you can pay 1 soul blast at the end of your turn and you have 4 or more coral cards in your soul to return her to your hand. I guess Luria is more to support this card than Coral, as Luria can put back the cost Alnesia uses to bounce herself. What I don't understand is why is this a triple rare? Satyrs would have been a better card to put in that rarity slot. Finally, if you like shinier pieces of cardboard, but also can't read to save your life, Bushiroad is bringing back the mermaid language cards as MSP rarity. This way you can make bullshit up in case you're losing and need an easy win condition. Or you might as well slap this card and give the card investors something to use their long fishing rods on. And that concludes this Vanguard news without the bullshit. Special thanks to my Patreon members for continuing to support my content creation. Be sure to subscribe and let me know in the comments if you suddenly want to order 2 Big Macs and a milkshake.